Hello beautiful faces, thanks for stopping by whether you are new or returning. Today's video is going to be the Q1 wrap up. So my reading wrap up for the first quarter of the year. Now this style of video is a little bit different. This isn't just going to be me chatting about all the books I've read. This isn't going to be like your regular monthly reading wrap up. I actually have a set of questions here in front of me which you can't see, and they are going to be questions that I answer, and it's going to be related to all of the books that I have read so far this month. You'll get it. It's just there's going to be a question and I'm going to answer it. You know, there might be some book recommendations in here as well, and we are just going to get into it. So the first question says, how many books have I read so far this year? So far I have read 16. I counted off camera. I've read 16 books so far. I'd like to say that's pretty good. That's obviously for January, February and March. I am filming this mid-April. I have read 3 more books, but the quarter wrap up is just for January, February and March. So I'm not including those because April is a part of quarter 2. So when we get to that video at the end of quarter 2, I will include those. So just if we want to talk about only the books that were read in January, February and March, I have read 16. The second question says, what is my most read genre? So my most read genre is romance. I think I have read the most amount of romances. If I did a bit of a ranking, I guess, I know that's not the question. I think dark romance comes in at 2, fantasy comes in at 3, so like romantic fantasy comes in at 3, and thriller would come in at a 4, and literary fiction would come in at a 5. So romance is my most read genre. Third question is, what is a genre I hope to read more of? I really just want to deep dive more into my favourite genre this year, which is dark romance. That is my favourite genre to read, and I hope that by the end of the year I've read a plethora of them because I really do enjoy dark romance. I do also want to read a lot more romantasy this year just because I am really getting into romantasy, so like fantasy romance. I would like to read more of that this year. Fourth question is, what is my most read from author? Now this was really easy. My most read from author this year is Rebecca Yarros. I've read 3 books from her this year because I started the Imperium series. So Fourth Wing, Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. So 3 books, Rebecca Yarros, she takes the crown. Question number 5 is an author you wish to read more of. This is again really easy to answer. One of my all-time favourite authors, but I haven't read the entirety of the backworks yet, Rena Kent. Oh my god, I read the Legacy of Gods series last year and just absolutely love it. All of them got 5 stars, and since I have read Cruel King, because I'm now starting her Royal Elite series, and I really just want to read everything that Rena Kent has ever written because I absolutely love Rena Kent to death. Probably one other author I'd really like to read more of, if I was going to pick a second, I would say Elle Kennedy. Last year I read her Off Campus series and loved it. Absolutely, like, The Deal was my favourite from that series, but I also really like the score as well, and so I really want to read more of her works. I know next I want to do the Briar You series, which is her spin-off from Off Campus. I have also read Girl Abroad, should have mentioned that. That's a standalone that she made, and I loved that book as well. So yeah, Rena Kent and Elle Kennedy. Question number 6 is a series that you are hoping to start in Q2. I think a series that I really want to start in Q2 because the second book in the series has just been released, which I don't own, but I have the first one, which I'm going to show in just a second. And like I said, it's not really like a big series because the second book has only just came out, but I have like huge interest in starting it. This is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. The second book, Enchantra, has just been released. So obviously I'll need to read Phantasma first. I've not read this yet, but I have huge interest in reading this. A lot of people, they market this as like older, scarier, spicier, more mature Caraval, which I've not read that and don't plan to, but I have huge interest in Phantasma. I don't really have interest in Caraval just because I don't really read a ton of YA, and I really don't read YA fantasy that much, so I thought we'll read Phantasma instead. It's more up my alley. Question number 7 is, what is a book that has made me cry? Now this is actually, I think, the only question on this list that I cannot answer, because so far with all of the books that I read in Q1, none of them have made me cry. A book has made me cry in Q2, but this is the Q1 wrap up, so I'm not mentioning it. And yeah, so no book has made me cry in Q1. The 8th question is, what is a book that has made me laugh out loud? Now, not a ton of books do this. I actually, like, it takes a lot for me to physically laugh out loud at books. Not a lot of books are funny, but I did manage to find one that made me, like, I was thinking about all the books that I read, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember one did make me really laugh out loud while I was reading it. That book is Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This is a very, very, very spicy, like, white shoes, dark romance with a little bit of, like, I don't want to use the word mafia, I might use the word gang. I think it's mafia, but don't quote me. Anyways, that's kind of what this book is about. It's very, very spice driven, but 2 characters in this book made me laugh out loud. Kenzo and Diesel, they were the 2 that added, like, comic relief to the story. And Kenzo is your classic, like, comic relief character. Then you've got Diesel, who's more that, like, psycho wild card, but he was also really funny. And so both of those 2 characters, and even Roxy, the FMC, made me laugh out loud while I was reading this book. I found this book to be quite funny, personally. I know not necessarily everyone will agree with me if you've read this, but I actually found this quite funny. The 9th question is, what are my top 5 reads from the year so far? Now this was a difficult one because I have read some really, really good reads this year. So the 5th place is going to go to just the entirety of the Imperium series, just because I really, really enjoyed that series. Now in 4th place, I'm going to actually give to A Small Town Romance, which I'm not really the biggest small town girl. However, I read The Highland Kiss by Amy McGavin, husband and wife writing duo. So that's like a pen name for them, which I think is really cute and sweet. And I really enjoyed The Highland Kiss. It's about a woman who gets left on her wedding day. So she takes herself up to the Scottish Highlands and it goes from there. And I actually really, really, really enjoyed myself. It was fun and it's just different from other small towns that I've tried. It's not just your basic, like, American small town, and, like, I get some people love them, that's great, but this one was cool. It was set in Scotland, which I love books that are set elsewhere. Like, books set in America, because, like, most of them are, like, they're fun, like, I'm not, like, discouraging, but I just have a special love for books that are set elsewhere, like, literally set anywhere else. Spot number 3 is going to go to Cruel King, the first book in the Royal Elite series by Irina Kent. It solidified my love for Irina Kent because before reading Cruel King, I had only read her Legacy of God series. Now, I really enjoy that series, but I wanted to obviously clearly see if I just love Irina Kent as a whole or I only like Legacy of God. Safe to say, I love Irina Kent. I did mention earlier she is just one of my all-time favourite authors now. I absolutely love her, and I will be reading the entirety of her backworks, and we loved Cruel King, spot number 3. Spot number 2, so the runner-up is going to go to The Other Brother by Tierney Page. Oh my god, Tierney, I was so proud of her when it was coming out that she was writing a book. She is one of my all-time favourite people in the book space. She makes booktube and book talk content, probably a little more active over on her book talk, but I absolutely love her videos. I think that she's laugh out loud hilarious. She's gorgeous. She and I have very similar tastes in books. We both love a dark romance. We both love spice. And she wrote a book called The Other Brother, and I absolutely loved it. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing book. Read it on the Kindle, and when she comes out with her traditionally published version in July, you can bet your ass I'll be getting me a physical copy. And, like, I loved that book so much. Only one book has topped it so far in the year, so the number 1 spot, to no one's surprise, or maybe to some people's surprise, Kin Porsche. Ooh, Kin Porsche. This is the best thing I've read so far this year. Oh my god, it is the best thing that I've read so far this year. No, it is not a literary masterpiece, but that's not what this question is asking. This question is basically asking, what have been your favourite reads of the year? This is my favourite read. This is my favourite read because Kin Porsche, like I have spoken about in some other videos, my all-time favourite Thai BL series, and like obviously it was originally based off of a book, but it was in the Thai language and I don't speak Thai, so I never read it until now because English translations have come out, releasing in volume style, and at the end of April volume 3 comes out, which I cannot wait to read when it comes out because I love Kin Porsche. Like 5 stars, and whether you agree with me or not, I do not care because I just love Kin Porsche. I really do. It's like my favourite thing ever. It's shaping up to be like the best thing I'll read all year, but I don't know yet because we are only in Q1. There's still Q2, Q3 and Q4 to go, so I might read something better. But so far, my favourite read of the year so far, Kin Porsche. I think this is the 10th question now, which is what is my worst read of the year? So going in the complete other direction, probably Layla by Colleen Hoover. Because I read Too Late and I read Verity last year, which I enjoyed both of those. And I'm not the biggest Colleen Hoover fan, but I had interest in reading Layla because apparently it was also like another thriller by her. I did not. I think we gave it like 2.5 stars, I think. Like, no. I didn't mind the beginning, because in the beginning I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then we got into like the beef of the story and I was just like, no, honey, no. Like, this is terrible. Personally, I found it absolutely terrible. You love it, that's great, but I did not. And I kind of won't be reading any Colleen Hoover again anytime soon. I'm not going to say never. I really hate to say that. But just not anytime soon. Question 11 is a book that surprised me. So I guess maybe a book that I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, and then I guess I got pleasantly surprised. So that book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is a Japanese translated literary fiction. It also has a magical realism element into it because you can time travel in this. Now that is not a spoiler, it says it on the back that you can literally time travel. That's what this is. It's like a time traveling cafe, and I actually really enjoyed it. Now I actually really enjoyed this book. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did because I'm not the biggest literary fiction reader, but I actually really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought, and I would love to read the other ones. Question number 12 is the biggest disappointing read of the year. Now, I thought that the book that made me cry question was going to be the only question that I'm unable to answer. I think I'm also going to be unable to answer this one as well, because I feel like that's actually a very similar question to like worst read of the year. At least for me, because the only book that I have read so far this year that I didn't like was Layla's, and I'm not going to talk about it again because I already have, but that is, yeah, my biggest disappointment. Question number 13 is an author that you want to try out. So a book by an author, like what is a book that you want to read, but it's by an author you've never read before, an author that you've heard, I guess, lots of good things about and you really want to read a book from them. So an author for me would be Emmy Sanders. I have specifically heard really, really good things about this book, which is To Catch a Fly. I think I just said that wrong, To Catch a Firefly. Teenie Page absolutely loves this book. This was one of the best books that she read last year. Like, gives it such amazing reviews, and it's not really that thick either, so I don't think that it would take me too long to read. But yeah, I really want to give Emmy Sanders a go. I've heard some really good things. I mainly hear good things about this book, but if I read it, then I would love to go on and read other Emmy Sanders books, just because I have heard like really, really good things about it. This is an MM romance, because another thing this year is that I want to read more MM, because in 2024 I only read 2, and I would like to read some more this year. Question number 14 is, what is a must read for Q2? So a book that I'm just absolutely dying to read, and it's definitely going to get read in Q2. Kiss of the Basilisk. Now, this is by Lindsay Straub. Now this originally, when it was traditionally published, had a different cover and it had a different title. It was originally called Split or Swallow, which, like, whoa, that says all you need to know about this book. This is very, very, very spicy. Oh my god. But the plot also is quite interesting. So I think she's being, like, sold off to a prince, but they gotta, like, learn how to make love to, so they can please the prince correctly or whatever. Sorry, she kind of starts doing it with, like, this snake guy. I don't fully know, but it's, yeah, I don't know really what you want me to say about this book. I just really want to read this. Basically everybody in the booktube space is reading this book right now. So I want to read this book and see what I think. It's one of those really controversial, like, in your face, like, it's very, like, spice is part of the plot. Like, you wouldn't just say that it was a fun bonus. Like, part of the plot is, like, I guess, learning how to do spice. So a lot of spices in this. I'd be very interested to just see what this is like. I don't read a ton of books that are like 90% spice. Like, I love spice in my books, but this is, like, apparently going to be a lot more than what I'm used to. So it'd just be interesting to read this book and see what I think. This is just a very, very talked about book in the book space right now, so I'm just, like, kind of dying to read it, honestly. Also, for a book that is heavily spice driven, not that I'm saying there's, like, no plot, but it is, like, well known that it's quite spice driven, it's a very, very thick book. The 15th and final question says, what is a book that you really want to read in Q2 but you're scared to read, and why? So the book that I've gone with is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I would really, really like to read this. Ashley Poston, she's most known, she wrote The 7 Year Slip, she wrote this book, she also wrote The Dead Romantics. She's also very well known as being, like, obviously a romance writer, but she always incorporates a magical realism element to it. So with The 7 Year Slip, there's, like, time traveling in her dead auntie's apartment that she inherits. This book is about a woman who somehow ends up in the fictional town of her favourite romance series. Somehow she ends up in that very specific town, goes from there. The reason why I'm a little bit scared to pick this one up is because this one I have heard mixed reviews for. Basically everybody loves The 7 Year Slip and everybody loves The Dead Romantics. Not everybody likes this one, a novel love story. It's very 50-50. Some people love it and they, you know, her best work yet. Some people were a bit, oh, you know, The 7 Year Slip is better. Like, this one wasn't living up to their expectations. I think I would say it's kind of like Wildside by Elsie Silver at the moment. Like, a lot of people love it, but a lot of people are disappointed by it. And I think this book here, A Novel Love Story, like, a lot of people were actually quite disappointed by it. But I want to give it a go because I do love Ashley Poston. I thoroughly enjoyed The 7 Year Slip. So I would love to read this one next. And I just think that her books are so, like, cute and quaint, kind of. And I really want to read this. But I'm just worried because there's a lot of, like, mixed reviews. So I was like, is it going to be good or is it not going to be good? So I don't know. Obviously I want to form my own opinion. But yeah, so far those have been the opinions of other people. Rightio, that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, consider subscribing if you love books as much as I do. Consider leaving a thumbs up. Let me know what were some of your favourite reads from Q1. I'd be interested to know. And yeah, basically that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.